At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
Hey, Happy New Year. Let's blow some stuff up. But let's make it happy, like a happy explosion.
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John, here with Jamie. Happy explosion.
Happy explosions, man. That is a lot. A lot.
Yeah, I teased it that we are going to be talking about some awful stuff on our regular show, True Crime Cast. We talked about Vince McMahon and some but some children who were exploited and potentially abused in some very awful ways.
It's really bad stuff.
So today I wanted to talk about something happy, but it is a mystery. And when we first started 7.5 years ago or so, we said that like our tagline was two friends. What was it? 2 friends, a murder and a mystery, and a microphone
and a mystery.
Yeah. So this is definitely on the more mysterious side of things and not the murder side.
It is. I'm going to be honest with you. I heard about this a long time ago. I don't know if it was on Unsolved Mysteries or where. I've been unable to locate it, but I had heard about this a long time ago, and it is fascinating and very mysterious, and I'm excited to get into it.
This was on Unsolved Mysteries, if I'm not mistaken, years and years ago, when we were kids. So,
I'm old.
So let's get into this. So we are going to go to Nebraska, Beatrice, Nebraska. What a name. This was back in 1950, and it's a tale that has had people wondering whether this was all just a crazy coincidence or was this something of divine intervention. Either way, we're going to be talking about the events that happened on March 1st, 1950, and it left an incredible mark on the town and the lives of 15 choir members.
Yeah, so let's set the stage here. We're talking about Westside Baptist Church in Beatrice, Nebraska. It was a chilly Wednesday evening, and Reverend Walter Klimple was getting the church ready for choir practice. As usual, he went and lit the furnace around 4:30 p.m. to give it time for the church to warm up so that when the choir members got there, they would be in a comfortable environment. I know you and I volunteer at our church, and I see you adjusting the thermostat every 20 minutes, it feels like. But we do a lot of stuff like this of making sure the church is ready for events and for things happening. And that's what he was doing. This was part of his regular routine.
So the choir members were historically known for their punctuality. Their churches are, I don't know, you interact with a lot of different folks at church. So you see folks that are on time, and by on time, I mean 10 minutes early. And then we have some of our loved ones who are fashionably late every single week.
I was sorry.
Not you. This is at Alex. Anyway.
Kind of me.
But this choir was famous for being punctual really because their leader insisted on it. But on this particular evening, for reasons that no one could have predicted, none of them were on time. And that is when disaster struck.
Practice was supposed to start at 7:25 p.m., which normally I think somebody would say 7:30, but I've heard if you pick a more odd time, like 7:27, people are more likely to be on time. That didn't matter. But right at 7:25, when practice was supposed to start, a massive explosion rocked the church. This was so powerful that it leveled the entire building, shattering windows in nearby homes, knocking out traffic lights in the surrounding area, and even forced the local radio station off the air. This wasn't a firecracker, John. This was a full-blown explosion.
Investigators were able to come in and determine that the explosion was caused by a gas leak and that the furnace that Reverend Kemple had earlier lit to help warm the place up eventually ignited the gas vapors, resulting in a catastrophic detonation.
So where's the mystery? Let's get into it. It turns out that of the 15 choir members, and a choir is like a well-oiled machine. You know, everybody's there. They know their role. They know what time to get there, where to stand, who's going to be fastest, turning the pages in the music. None of them were inside the church at the time practice was supposed to start when this happened. And remember, this was a group that was always on time, even early. But each individual person had a unique reason for being late that night. Reasons that, when you look at them all together, make this story almost unbelievable.
So let's go through some of those. Let's start with Reverend Kemple himself. He was delayed because his wife was changing their baby's dress after an accident. So they were still at home when the explosion happened. So he and his wife were both supposed to be there that evening.
Marilyn Paul, who was the choir director, insisting on everybody being there early to start on time, is running late because her daughter, who played the piano, had overslept after dinner, which is not a very common thing to do. By the time they got ready to leave, the church was already in rubble.
And then there were the high school students, Lucille Jones and Dorothy Wood. Lucille wanted to finish listening to a radio show about actor Edgar Bergen. Since Dorothy was riding with her, they both were delayed.
Another group was held up by car trouble. Sisters Royina Estes and LaDonna Vandergift had to call for a ride, but LaDonna insisted on finishing her geometry homework before heading out.
And then there is Herbert Kiff, who was a lathe operator, and he was late because he was finishing an important letter that he wanted to mail on his way to church.
Here's what's fascinating, John. Some members didn't even have a specific reason for being late. They just lost track of time. Joyce Black, for instance, said that she was just feeling lazy that evening and decided to hang out and leave at the very last minute, which was very abnormal for her.
So these are all trivial things for people to be late, right? But when you add all of them up together, that's where I wonder myself, this is more than just a coincidence. This was people who were historically on time each and every week, but then this time, not just some of them were late, every single one of them. Brother, I'm going to go on record to say I think it was divine intervention.
The choir members certainly thought this was a miracle. Herbert Kipp later said, when you have 15 people scattered throughout the city, each detained by a trivial little thing, it can't be coincidence.
But it happened. So where do you stand on this, man?
Yeah, I don't think that I fully believe that 9 times out of 10, when we say something crazy had to happen, most of the time it is coincidence and the odds aren't as unlikely as we believe. But for 15 people, for 13, 12 different reasons were late to something they're always on time for, and nobody was hurt in a massive explosion, I can't say I believe that was just coincidence with a good conscience.
It makes you really think about when things are just not going your way and you are running late, your natural instinct is to get upset with that. From now on, you should say, hey, man, it's divine intervention. God only knows what was awaiting for me had I shown up on time.
Maybe I'm dodging a literal bullet. Maybe I'm missing a happy explosion. But either way, this is a mystery that I don't know that we're going to have a clear answer to unless it is divinely revealed to us.
Yeah. Guys, we appreciate you sticking around for this one. We hope you enjoyed the mystery today and get away from murder or child sexual abuse for a minute.
And explosions. We'll have another church story back in 10 minutes or less next time.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.